what's up, Slater? Alright, give me 1 second. Just let me make sure that everything's working good. Let me see. Hey, what's up, Slater? Hey, give me 1 second. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and start with Slater's stock, just so I can give some time for other people to join, because I don't know. Yeah, so I'll just go ahead and do that. Okay, so we'll start with Slater's callouts first, and then we'll go into what I see for the week. So first, let's take. Crap. How do I say? Okay. Okay, I think I know what I needed to do. Alright, so let's take a look at Slater's, which is P. Sam here. Hey, what's up, Sam? Okay, PRTY. Oh, whoops. Hold up 1 second. Okay, so start off by taking a look at the 180-day chart. Alright, so it's been an overall descending pattern. Before the market crash, it was an overall descending pattern. It's very oversold. That's true, but oh, this is American Airlines. But this is the, what is this? Oh, I'm looking at the wrong thing. Hold up. What is going on? Okay, there you go. Okay, so PRTY, Party City. The 3-year chart is still overall descending pattern. On the 180-day, descending. Okay, so it's been an overall descending pattern. It's something I personally wouldn't trade. It's extremely on the overbought side. You can see that the RSI and the MACD are extremely high, so it'll probably push back down and make new lows. As far as percentage growth, it has pretty decent percentage within the day. It moves around 3%, but it's just something that I see. Unless you see value in it. I personally don't see something that I would be trading. It's just overall descending. I don't like the pattern, and doesn't really show anything valuable in my eyes, especially for how much it cost. It's lower cap stocks compared to the other companies. So let's take a look at CLDR. Alright, what is this? Cloud Area Inc. I have no idea what this is, but let's take a look at the 180-day chart. Okay, so on the 180-day chart, let me look at the news. Let me see. Yeah, so I really don't know what this is tied into, or what is this exactly. But overall, it's been pushing back up. Before the entire market crash 3 years ago, it is still an overall descending pattern but you can see it has very strong pushes up. So it's been doing this consistently, where it strongly pushes down, breaks above the EMA, pushes up, comes back down, and then it breaks above the EMA, shoots up, and comes back down. So we've seen it do that before. So based off where it's at now, you can see that the MACD is starting to reverse. The RSI is on the oversold side, and we're starting to push back up. So if this were to break above the EMA line here, we could probably see it shoot up a little bit before it comes back down again. So unless you see, I personally don't see value in it, but unless you see value in the pattern that it has, where it breaks above this blue line, the EMA line, and shoots up a little bit, you can make a profit off of it, right? So 10 days, let's look at the 10-day chart. So we've had a resistance around in this general area 7.94, and they say support around 7.41 the past week. It's about a 6% margin of profit that it has to offer. So it's a little bit still on the overbought side for the day. But like I said, if it's on the 180-day chart, if it breaks the EMA, we can see it continue to shoot up. If not, it'll probably come back down to around this general support area and then come back up. So, always compare your profit gains potential to profit loss. So if it's intraday right now, you can have more opportunity to lose than to gain right now. So I would wait to see how it acts and see if it breaks above that EMA or it comes back down first, right? So that's what I see for CLDR. So I'm gonna go ahead and erase these. If anybody else has a different stock they want to go ahead and call out, you guys can put it in the comment section below. Now I'm gonna be going over basically what I see potential in for the week. I'm just double checking. All right, yeah, everything is still going good. Okay, so first I'm gonna start off with /NQ. It's future for the ETF TQ and SQ. So basically, with NQ overall, right? It's an uptrending pattern. We see it here. I've had multiple supports and resistance, and they keep getting broken and rising back up. It's rising back up because it's tied to the Nasdaq, so Nasdaq is gonna keep rising. As we know that the economy is recovering, but sooner or later, we're gonna start seeing the true effects of, as I always say, we're gonna start seeing the true effects of the recession. We're gonna see it start to pull back down. So overall, I am more focused on SQs for the week, unless you want to do something long term. TQ will be the one to hold. But for the week, I see more potential in SQs. On top of that, if we zoom in to, let's say, the 20-day chart, maybe not even that big. We do the 10-day chart here. If we zoom into the 10-day chart, we can see that there is a strong general resistance around this area and a support around this general area, right? So it's been rejected about 1, 2, 3, 4 times now at this resistance. It has broken it up by a little bit, but then it came back down. And its support, we have the support 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 times. So this can continue to consolidate. And as we always talk about, consolidation usually means a break of pattern. So if it's been uptrending for the past few days and now it's consolidating, it could probably start making lower lows. As we start seeing the true effects of the economy opening back up, right? So this is something that I wouldn't necessarily hold. This is something I would just pay attention more to how it's acting throughout the day, because as I say, like, we should be starting to go back down, but there's still a lot of hype with the economy opening up. So we don't know if it's going to go up or down. But based off what position it's at right now, most likely SQs will be up on the day tomorrow because of the RSI being so overbought, the MACD starting to reverse back down, and we're at a resistance. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see NQs shoot down. Whoops. Okay. If we see NQ shoot down and SQs shoot up. So we can see about, a 7% profit right there. Potentially, we're never too sure about that. So my main focus for this week is still going to continue to be degas, as it has been for the last week as well, as we see /NG, right? If we take a look at the 30-day chart, we can see that it has been a continuous downtrend for the past few days. But because it's had such a strong downtrend for, I believe it was Thursday and Friday. Yeah, Thursday. So we can see here Thursday and Friday, it just has such a strong push down that now I believe it's going to recover a little bit up to the EMA line before it continues its downtrend pattern to its previous support levels of around 1.569, around this general area, right? And even if you look at the 1 day 1 minute chart right now, it's pre-market hour. Well, it's Sunday, so it starts to move and it's already trading above the middle VWAP and it's already starting to push up. So it wouldn't be a surprise if this thing starts to push up a little bit during pre-market hours and then start to continue to sell off, right? Also, another thing that I want to be aware of, that, as this is in favor of DGAS as of right now. If we take a look at DGAS on the 180-day chart, right, as well, the opposite of what NG is doing. So we are now we have extremely pushed up above the EMA line. We've had two consistent days of it going up. So now we're seeing this red candlestick creating the pullback confirmation to the EMA line. So just like how I talk about in my course, is when it pushes up and it pulls back to this EMA line and it continues to uptrend, it's going to create that pullback confirmation that is going to continue to shoot up. And we can expect higher gains. It has a potential 70% to offer us, but we always got to be careful. Another thing that I want to take into consideration here is that if we look at the 30-day chart, right, the SMA has been acting as a support previously in this past few days. We see that, yes, it broke it here, but here it bounced off of it once, and then it was consolidating here, and it was acting as a support for DGAS. It bounced off here. Then when it broke below it and it came back up, it did push up above it, but it broke it and made it push back down again. So I see that as a resistance as well. So now we're back. DGAS is back at the general area again with the SMA line. It's considered overbought. The MACD is starting to reverse back down. So we can see this thing pull back before it shoots back up, but we also got to be careful because it could also just continue to come back down, just for the fact that it's at the SMA line and it's overbought and the MACD is reversing. But the reason I'm not so afraid of it is because when it comes to DGAS and UGAS, we pay attention more to the future, right? We pay a lot more attention to /NG, how that's trading, not necessarily the ETF itself, the future. Basically whatever the future does is what I decide to invest in and read off the ETF, because the ETF is not something I take a position off of, because everything that NG does I follow, right? So this is all I pay attention to, really. But it's just something to take a look at. Philip just texted in the chat, shop. So I'll be going into shop after I finish these next two stocks. So Tesla, right? Let's take a look at Tesla. So Tesla, one of my favorite stocks. A lot of hype, a lot of potential for it to become a $1,000 or $1,500 stock within the next 1 or 2 years, possibly. Even a $2,000 stock eventually, if it continues the way it's performing and how the company is growing and changing the world, right? So first of all, I want to explain that ever since the crash, it's been uptrending pretty consistently. We've had some days of consolidations and some pullback, but overall it's been going up. It's right at this SMA line. It looked like it got pushed up above it here and here, so it's been kind of right in that SMA line, so we can see it continue to push up. On top of that, the earning reports are coming in. So yes, I'm pretty sure, just like every company in the world, the earnings is going to be lower than what they projected. But the stock market doesn't necessarily work based on numbers. It works more based on expectations, right? So for example, what I mean by that if they just putting out random numbers, like if they expected like 100 million by this time, but they only reached like 80 million, even though there was a crash, it wasn't that bad, right? Maybe if it was like 50 million and it was 50% of what they expected, then maybe, yeah, that's pretty bad. But if they're in that upper range and they did not as bad as they thought they would be, then this stock is probably going to shoot up. So I have a lot of faith in Tesla, and I'm going to be watching it as the earnings come Tuesday to Wednesday, right? We can see here these little markers here is the earnings report. So we can see Tesla start to push up even tomorrow because of the hype of the earnings starting to come. And I just have faith in Tesla that it is going to start to push up. So as far as Tesla, like I said, it's uptrending. It's riding the SMA. It's a company that a lot of people have faith in and believe it's going to be a big company. And the earnings report is coming. So I might be investing into Tesla maybe tomorrow or Tuesday, just depending on how it starts to act. So so I have my eyes on Tesla. And let's go over Uber. So now that things are starting to open back up, people that are jobless are looking for more jobs. We are starting to see that it's been overall pushing up. It was consolidating for a long time in between 28.77 and 26.63. We can see it here. Um, I even have it over here, but basically in this general area, it's been having a support and resistance, and we can see now that basically this past Friday and what is that, Thursday? Yeah. Um, it's still in that general area, so it can still push back down. But just because of how things are acting, we can see that the SMA line is right here. It's been acting as a support for it. As the support is rising, so is the stock. So I just think that now that things are opening back up, unemployment rates are high. People are going to be looking into other things for work. I just think Uber is something that's going to continue to start uptrending throughout the next few weeks. So I have my eye on Uber, and I will consider trading it depending on how it's acting, right? We can see here that Friday it had an extremely green day, offering about 4.3%. So it's not as big as some of these other companies, but it is a really big company with a great potential for the future. So I have my eye on Uber, and now I'm gonna go ahead and go over Shop, which is Philip's call out. Whoops, Shopify. Yep. So we can see right off the bat, Friday had an extremely green day. 6.7%. Um, Let me take a look at the 180-day chart. Sheesh. Whoa. Okay, so we see here that it went crazy, right? It literally recovered almost 88% already within that looks like it was, what is that? In 2 weeks, so that's crazy amount of growth. So based off of what I see, let me take a look further back 3 years. Okay. So Shopify is a company that is also growing as businesses become more online and more efficiently, working online and with promotions and other things. So I do believe it is something that is going to grow and continue to grow. Also, as well as now that things are becoming more efficient using the internet because of how the whole virus thing, I do think more people are gonna be on Shopify and growing their business through there. Um, Overall, though, as a day trader, I see it as it's extremely overbought. Right, it is really pushed up. We can see here that it's still kind of high on the RSI. Yes, the MACD is reversing, and the way it's been trading is that it's been consistently pushing up above the EMA line, which is really, really good, right? So as a day trader, I would wait for it to push back down around this EMA line before I trade it, because it's in that range of where it's been highest at, right? Because we can see here, if I zoom in here, this is where it's reached its highs at before. It has pushed up above it, but it's overall been getting rejected around this area. So I would be careful, and if you were to go in for a day trade, I would potentially buy more towards the EMA line, and as it starts to push up, sell as it gets higher within the day of around, what is that, $640. So I would just be careful with this, right? It has been having extremely green days. Even before, now that I'm taking a look at it, even ever since November, it's been having consistently green day, just riding up above the EMA, which is really, really good. So Shopify is something that I'm going to be adding to my watch list and taking more of a look at. It's just something I think you need to be careful with because, overall, it's just extremely, extremely overbought, right? I wouldn't be surprised if this thing were to pull back a little bit around the 550 area and then continue its uptrend pattern. So if you see value in it, that's up to you. I definitely do see value in it. It's just something I would be more careful with just based off how much it's pushed up in a few days. So does anybody else have any other questions or stocks that they want me to go over before I end this live stream. You guys can go ahead and comment. If not, then I'll go ahead and close out the live stream. Let me see. Let's see how NG is performing. Yeah, so yeah, NGC still pushing up. So we'll probably see. Basically, a lot of my attention to this week is going to be going towards DGAS and Tesla. I'm just waiting to see how it acts. We see the MACD and the RSI reversing for NG. So I'm hoping for it just to push around this EMA line before it continues its downtrend pattern, right? So the EMA line is around 1.754. So I'll take a look at during the day, 1.754. So around this general area right here. So we'll probably see it push up a little bit more, maybe up to this previous support levels, where it used to be acting as a support, might act as a resistance now. So we could see it push up to here and then continue to go back down. So okay, Slater said big. I've actually heard stuff about big before. I just don't remember. Okay, let's take a look at big. Alright, big lots. Okay. 180-day chart. Okay. So it has a very unique pattern, I would say. A lot of traders could see this as a great opportunity stock just for the fact because of how it trades. So let me take a look at the 3-year chart first. Okay, so overall descending pattern. You know, we do see a lot of big lot stores, but they are starting to go out of business. I've seen a lot of them go out of business. You know, overall it's a descending pattern, but let's just focus on the 180-day chart. So what I want to, 180-day chart. Okay, so before this whole stock crash, as we see here, it was consolidating from this area to this area, which I love stocks that consolidate because they're so easy to predict, you know, because once they're consolidating, you know where the lows are, you know where the highs are. So you just buy at the low, sell at the high, right? And basically tells you what direction it's going at. So it did that, it broke its resistance and created a new support and resistance level and started consolidating again up here, right? And now what it's done is it's, you know, when the market crash came back down, it's pushing back up. We can see that the RSI is a little on the overbought side, but the MACD is starting to reverse. We see it right in the EMA line. As a lot of stocks are trying to push up because things are starting to recover, we can see this thing start to push up a little more, but it's right at that general area where it used to be a support. So this can either act as a new resistance level, or we can see it push up to its previous resistance level as high as maybe $24. So just be careful. You know, it could start to trade in between this general area, which is, you know, what is that, $19 and close to, what is that, $24. You can see it start trading in between there and start consolidating. We just have to be patient and see how it starts to trade. It's just something I just think you should be careful with, just for the fact that it's an overall descending pattern and the RSI is overbought. So I wouldn't be surprised if a company like this actually starts to go out of business because of the whole crash. So we just need to be careful with how this thing trades, right? So one last, if anybody has any last questions before I end this live stream, you guys can go ahead and comment. If not, I'll probably close it out now. I just want to remind my team and people my students, you know, just remember it's about being patient and don't trade hopefully. You know, if your confirmations aren't adding up, if the MACD is starting to go back down, the RSI isn't in your favor, but you just want it to go up, remember, things don't work that way, right? So don't be a hopeful trader. Trade more based on, you know, what you see value in, what is actually hitting your confirmations, and, you know, pay attention to the signals that it's giving you. You know, Because as much as, for example, Philip, like trust me, I have a lot of faith in Shop. You know, Shop is crazy, but at the end of the day, Shop, the amount it has pushed up is crazy. So it's just something I just think you should be careful with. You know, as far as if you're trying to hold, if you're doing a day trade, it's a little easier and more. It's a little easier to control, right? But okay, Slater has one more stock before I close it out. So it's just something you need to be more careful with as far as if you're going for something that you're holding. As far as day trading, it's a little easier to control because you're seeing what's going on throughout the day. So last one here is Alphabet. Okay, so Alphabet is a extremely bullish company. I know that for a fact. See, just like I said, an extremely bullish company. It has been having an overall uptrend. Whoa, I just noticed something. That's crazy. Okay, so I see a lot of value in this company as of right now. Just the way it is, right? It's an overall uptrending pattern. The RSI and the MACD is not. The RSI is barely starting to push up. It's in the generally good area. The MACD is starting to reverse pushing up. The RSI, if you were to put an arrow at the end of this line, is pointing up. The RSI is pointing up. The EMA is pointing up already, and we're starting to see the break of pattern push up again above this EMA line, right? So it might have a pullback confirmation. We could see it go a little red before it continues to uptrend, right? And we can even see here that it broke below the SMA. It pulled back, it bounced off the SMA and continued to uptrend. So we can actually see this stock maybe continuously make higher highs, and it's something I see a lot of value in. Especially, the day-to-day, let me check. Okay, see the day-to-day returns aren't that big just for the fact that it's such a large company. It's only 2% on the day, but it's a less riskier investment. You're more sure of it going up and more sure to gain your percentage growth, but it's just a lot slower because it's such a large company. But overall, especially if you're going in for a long-term investment, I see a lot of value in it. And it's a much safer stock to invest in. So I see value in it. Like I said, long term, and I also see value in it day to day. It's just less. It's just less return of investment based on the percentage. So, yeah, basically it. Sorry. Somebody was calling me. Okay, so hopefully you guys enjoyed this live stream. If you guys have any questions, you can message me on Discord, or if you're not part of my course, you guys can message me personally. But I hope you guys have a great Sunday and stay profitable, team.